welcome to Dackman Productions and welcome to Conrail. Got a special project going on for us today, but before I announce that project, I want to make mention of my Conrail shirt, my new design shirt that I came up with. If this is something you're interested in, it is for sale on the Dackman Productions Teespring store. I'll put a link to that store in the description of this video. Now, your purchases from that store helps to keep this channel going, because it is quite expensive to go to train shows and do projects like these. But at any rate, today's project is I'm finally going to build this scrapyard, this Conrail scrapyard. So it's not going to be a very big one, and so basically it's going to be like a diorama type of scene is what I was planning on. Now I will tell you, I got a lot of inspiration from Nick over there at PGH Train Fanatics. He is very good very good in building dioramas. So I first ran into his channel in 2015 and I seen him build this diorama of a F3 unit being cut up, similar to the Lionel version that you can buy off the shelf. Only his was a lot more better and a lot more realistic. So I had already made plans up on my mind to build this scrapyard, and Joe from the Central Operating Lines had donated like 3 locomotive shells. I decided to use the RS11. I got 2 switcher shells as well, and then Jeff over there at the DC Area Independent High Railers donated a New York Central passenger car, and I'm going to cut that up and put it on there. Basically, I want to create this diorama scene. Now, it was funny because I had made these plans, and then I got a private message from Nick, and he sent me a video he put up on Instagram of a diorama scene he created of a Conrail locomotive getting cut up and scrapped, and I was like, wow, it looked really good. If I wasn't already planning on building one myself, I would have bought it. I mean, he always does a great job. I'm not knocking him. I'll never become, as good as he is. But in that same token, I told him, I said, it's a beautiful diorama. As usually, your work is always excellent. But I had made plans to do my own. And so I passed on it, and he understood. Again, I want to try to do things on my own, and also encourage others to try and do things on their own, because for the longest time, I had never tried anything like this. Weathering, I was always afraid to pick up a paintbrush. What if I do it wrong? Is there really any way wrong to do weathering? I don't know. But it's like, you think in your head, it's like, all right, well, maybe I'll get somebody else to do it for me. Maybe I'll buy one already done. But at the end of the day, it's not really yours. It's not something that you did. And I think that's what makes the difference. It's, even though it may not be the best in the world, it won't win the Crying Monkey Award, okay? But and for those who don't know, I pull quotes off of movies once in a while. So if anybody can tell me where I got that Crying Monkey Award, what movie was mentioned the Crying Monkey Award in? Be interesting if you guys know. I'll give you a little hint. It was a very controversial movie, and in that movie they mentioned the Crying Monkey Award. But at any rate, getting back to where I was going, so yeah, it's like, it may not be perfect, it may not be the best, but I want to have something that I did on the layout, and hopefully that makes sense to the viewers. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be the best? No. I'm not going to get in any kind of magazine. But it'll be mine. It'll be something that I created. And that's fine. And so we'll go ahead, we'll get started with this project. And I'll probably be using the cell phone most of the time to make it easier. So what are we going to be using for this project? So you guys already know that I weathered the locomotive and the passenger car ahead of time. So that's already done. So I went ahead and bought the Woodland Scenics welders and accessories. Even though they'll be cutting it up, but it's got the accelerating and oxygen tank in there, which is why I wanted it. Also, I found a seller who was offering figures all ready to go with the lighting for the scene. Now I could have bought modules from Minitronics and put it together myself, but it was more expensive doing it that way myself than buying them already done for some reason. So we'll see how these work out. Hopefully it was a good buy and a good choice. But if you want to make your own figures with lights, you can buy the figures out of this Woodland Scenics kit. Minitronics sells the modules, and then you just buy the lights from Evans Designs. But I can tell you that way, right now doing it that way is a little bit more expensive than buying them already done for this guy. For the dirt I'm going to use on the scene, it's from a company called Superior Scenics, and it's a chestnut ultra fine. Alright, so enough talking, let's get started with this project. Alright, so here we go. Again, I'm going to donate that building to the North Penn O-Gaugers. I've already donated 2 buildings to them already. So I'm going to probably donate that to them, so they'll have something for their layout for the public. I got to tear up this parking lot there, and then I'm going to tear up this roadway. That's going to be all dirt, and then I'm going to rip out that fake dirt scene at the power station. Alright, so I got the building removed, the parking lot's out. I got that building flipped up on its end, got the road removed. I did pull up a little bit of my original grass mat that I laid down years ago, but that's fine because we got plenty of stuff to cover it with. And we're going to go ahead and start the process here. Alright, so the first thing I did was I laid down a little layer of Elmer's glue with a paintbrush in areas that I wanted to apply this. And then I went ahead and sprinkled it on top of the Elmer's clear glue. Now, it will take some time for this to cure. It's not like it's going to be like 15 minutes, so it's going to be a while. But before it totally dries, I did learn a little something here. I see a little light spot, so I'll show you how I'm applying it here, because I see a little light spot there. There we go. Now, before this completely dries, I've seen somebody say, take a vehicle before the glue dries and use the vehicle. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but sort of like make tracks in it. Maybe I'm not making it deep enough. Probably not. You just barely see it in there, the tracks. because I didn't really apply the dirt that deep. Now, eventually, the plan is to put a fence in here. There's going to be a little gate to get in and out right there. And then the scrapyard will be in this area. For the spillage, we'll just take a dry paintbrush and push that stuff right back in there. Okay, so we're back to this locomotive that I already weathered. It's already been dull coated, so it's good to go to handle now. So the plan is, well, there's three things I'm planning on doing here. I got a person standing up cutting and a person kneeling cutting. So I'm going to probably cut one of these doors off, and then it's going to look like he's cutting the next door off for the person standing up. And for the person kneeling, he's cutting these doors off. Now I want something for the crane to lift off. So I think I'm going to cut across this line here, attempt to cut across this line here, and cut across this line here, and the crane is actually lifting this part off. That's the plan. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so doing it this way does make a mess. I'm sure there's going to be people out there. You should be using a model saw. There is saws out there for models, specifically for making straight cuts and stuff like that. But for this instance, I'm doing a scrap scene. None of the cuts are going to be straight. They're going to be using a torch. They're going to just torch things apart. So that's why I didn't use a model saw in this instance. So I just wanted to cut off some pieces, put some cut marks in some pieces, and we'll be touching this up. So I cut a door off. I'm going to touch that up with some weathering. And from where it's cut at, I'm going to paint it a metal color, because where the torch is going to be at is going to be fresh metal color. So we'll do that as well. And I'll show you guys how it looks at the end. I sort of went too far back and got into the model, where it fastens down to the chassis. I should have stopped sooner, but that's all right. I was able to cut through that and made it through. So I'm going to paint the inside of this with some weathering. I'm going to paint this again with the weathering. And the reason why I weathered it beforehand, so the colors will match. So I'm not painting multiple pieces. Alright, so I painted the cut parts that I cut with metal color this is from Amazon as well. Seems to work pretty well. It looks like cut metal. Fresh cut metal. So I wanted to make it look like the metal was freshly cut. I gotta touch this up a little bit more. The end of it looks good. Anyway, so I got this chain. I don't know if it's O gauges or not. Close enough for me. It's very cheap at Hobby Lobby. It's sold in a bulk pack. I'm going to glue it to the hood so I can put it on my crane. Alright, so I didn't have any super glue. We're going to see if this model glue will hold the chain on the hood. It's not that heavy. We'll see. I bought this board off of Amazon. So you can hook up, have two main wires, and it's a distribution board. So you got 2 wires that go to the board, and then you can feed stuff off of it. It's a lot less expensive than what people are asking for those NTH terminal boards. And they give you these ends to go with it. So this one, you don't stick the wire in and screw it tight. You actually got to put wire ends on and then put it on the board. As far as these figures that I showed you guys, like this guy right here. So it does warn you that it's for 6 to 18 volt DC only, which works for me because I'll show you guys. I have a 360 watt DC supply, also cheap on Amazon, and that's what's going to power up that board and whatever 6 to 18 volt DC lights that I decide to add on later on. Alright, so here we go. I got the figures wired up, placed where I want them. I'm not done with this scene yet. I want to add more. I still have the passenger car that I want to cut up and put in there here and there. I can't put it in there whole like I did with the locomotive. There's not enough room. The other plan is to make a fence. And I'm going to use Matt's idea on how to do that. So, yes, Woodland Scenics sells fences, but I think you get 5 pieces, and it's like $25 or $30 for 5 pieces of fence. Matt's idea for making a fence is pretty reasonably cheap, especially if you're going to make a lot of it, which I do plan on doing a lot of fencing. I got more fencing to do in the other room. So that'll be another segment, video segment I'll plan on doing. I'll show you guys how he showed me to make fence. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed another Dakman Productions video. We'll catch you at the next event. We'll catch you trackside. Goodbye.